So welcome everyone to Expo Digital 2022. It's been a while since we've done one, and I'm so excited to have Amy here from BECTU Vision. We're going to be diving into a lot of interesting things. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Jessica. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. So now I'm a filmmaker and I am familiar with BECTU, but I wasn't actually familiar with BECTU Vision. So could you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and BECTU Vision?
Sure. So I'm Amy Shaw. I'm co-manager of BECTU Vision alongside Linda Fraser. BECTU Vision is the Scotland-based training arm of BECTU, the wider union. So BECTU covers the whole of the UK and supports freelancers working in the film and TV industry. BECTU Vision is based in Scotland, and we support skills development for freelance crew. So we work with the crews in Scotland, people who are working in the film and TV industry, and we provide training opportunities and events and initiatives to support them in their careers, be it whether they're coming in as a new entrant, whether they're stepping up to the next level from assistant to supervisor. And we also work with producers as well, who are looking to be our producers of the future. So we cover the whole range of crew, from new entrants all the way up to producers. And we do a lot of things covering different areas, focusing on well-being of crew, safety, lots of different things.
That's a huge amount. And you don't just talk the talk, but you walk the walk in terms of job sharing, because this is a co-role, isn't it? There's a lot to cover. Can you tell us a little bit about your own background and how you got interested in it?
Yes, I used to work in film and TV. I was a production coordinator for a number of years and then a production manager. And I loved it. I worked across both scripted, so I worked on feature films and TV dramas, and I also worked across factual productions as well. So I kind of covered both areas, which was really interesting and kind of an unusual thing to straddle across both. But I loved it. So I worked in the film and TV industry for about 10 years. And then I had children and decided that it didn't really work with having two young children and working on the front line of the production office as well. So I took a step back and moved across into training, and I worked on various different training initiatives with Film City Futures, and I was the training manager on Outlander for 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And then I applied for the job at BECTU Vision alongside Linda Fraser, and we applied as a job share pair, and BECTU Vision and BECTU were wonderful in taking us on board. So we started just over 4 years ago as a job share partnership. So we worked as a job share for about a year, and then as our role at BECTU Vision has expanded and we've come up with new ideas and new things that we wanted to do and new initiatives that we want to deliver, our roles have expanded. So now we're both full-time, but we're still co-managers, and we very much see ourselves in a job sharing format in that we share the decisions and we work alongside each other very closely.
Amazing. Okay, so tell me, what does the landscape look like now? So what's BECTU Vision up to? What does job sharing look like and training look like at the moment?
So job sharing in the film and TV industry is a really hot topic at the moment, which is fantastic. We've talked about it for a while. When we first came into our role as a job share, we would go out on sets and visit the crew to find out what training requirements they wanted. And people would always say to us, oh, I'd love to be a job share, but I can't do it in this role, or it can't be done in film and TV, or I wouldn't know where to start. And that kind of planted a seed for us. And we thought, well, let's address this. There's got to be a way where we can make job sharing and flexible working happen, because there's too much talent out there that's being lost because of the working hours in film and TV. Our standard day is quite long.
So to go to the, sorry, Amy, but to go to the real basics. So for me, like layman listening to this, when you picture job sharing in the film and TV industry, what does that actually what does that look like?
It can be loads of different formats. So it could be a traditional job share where one of you does 2.5 days a week. So one person does Monday to Wednesday at lunchtime, and then you hand over at lunchtime and the other person takes over for the rest of the week. Or it could be a 2 or 3 days split, or it could be sometimes that some people do the morning. So some people do the 5 mornings and come in, particularly if it's an area like makeup or costume where you've got those very early calls. Yeah. You can come in and do the morning, and then in the afternoon somebody else will come in and hand over and they do the afternoon side of things. So it kind of depends on individual circumstances, what works well for them and what their personal circumstances are for wanting to job share. So it can work in a whole load of different ways. And it's not just job sharing, it can also be flexible working, having that kind of staggered start to allow people to drop off their kids at school and then come into the office later, or even the hybrid working that we're now also familiar with, but joining some team meetings on Zoom, or not necessarily having to have that presenteeism or being in the office for the full day, but still working just as hard as you would just from a remote place or in a staggered start or condensed working hours, just depending on the individual and what they're looking for.
So from a like a layman's point of view, again, I'm like, that sounds great. That sounds so good. It makes sense. Film and TV hours are so long. And then odd hours too, as you said, quite early in the mornings, quite late at night. You do need to be fresh and on your game. And so the idea of actually having reinforcements come in and sharing jobs makes so much sense. From a filmmaker's point of view and a director's point of view, I can find myself, my control freakness worries, because you get, in the creative industry, you get so used to the costume person that you're collaborating with, or what happened on set yesterday is actually really important to know, because then it happens. How do you deal with knowledge sharing too, and having consistency in job sharing?
There's loads of things and tools. It's about being organized, really. It's about being organized and having everything that you need to hand over to that one person. And I think as a job share, you're really grateful for the opportunity to be a job share, and you want to make it work as well as you possibly can for yourself and also for the team, so there's no impact on anybody else, and you can do it and you can continue to work as a job share. So your investment in making it work is huge. And I think so it's a lot about organization, just making sure that you've got everything ready, everything's handed over, you've recorded what you've done, you know what is coming up in the future. And I think as well, it's interesting just to pick up on that kind of creative aspect of it as well. What we've found from job sharing ourselves and other people doing it is the old motto of 2 heads are better than 1. You know, when you're bringing 2 really experienced people together, they're coming at it with a whole load of experience from different things. They know different people, they know different skills, different techniques, and bringing that together, and particularly in that creative environment where you can share ideas and bounce ideas off each other, the creative impact of it is huge, of having 2 people doing the same job. So yeah, it works really well in those kind of roles where you can kind of bring that creativity to it. And I think you do have to have your team on board though, and you have to be together in your vision of what you're hoping to achieve and always working towards that. You're a unit, you're working together, you're not working separately, so it's all about shared communication, shared vision, and that can make it work really successfully.
Absolutely. And do you find that productions are amenable? How easily converted are people to job sharing?
They really are. We launched Take Two, which is a kind of blueprint and guide to job sharing, at the Edinburgh Film Festival in 2019. So that was just kind of 7 or 8 months before the pandemic. And when we did that, that was really the start of it in kind of Scotland, of having the conversation around it. And production companies and productions, as they were setting up, hadn't really considered it in any way before. Yeah. But as we neared the pandemic, people were really starting to come on board with it. We've had great examples of job sharing working on places like Outlander. And people were engaged in the conversation and looking to see how they could make it work on their productions. The pandemic hit and it changed everything. But as much as that was a great cloud, the silver lining from it is that we've all changed the way that we work, and we've all seen how we can work flexibly. Look at what we're doing today, doing this interview online from different places. We've seen how it can all work really well together. And so as we come out of the pandemic, people are much more open to talking about how we can work flexibly. They've done it themselves over the last few years. And if they don't want to do it themselves, they can see that it can work for others. And as we've come out of the pandemic in this production boom as well, every production is seeking crew across the UK. There's a huge shortage of crew versus the number of productions that we have happening at the moment. Yeah. So the opportunity is there for people who want to job share and are experienced in doing it, to present themselves as a really tangible solution to some of the crew shortages that we have in specific roles.
Well, can we dive in a little bit to, I know this is not what we had planned on chatting about, but crew shortages always really fascinate me, because we were looking to find a line producer and all of them were hired and busy. So when thinking about job share, are there enough people to do job shares in Scotland? And is that why BECTU Vision also focuses on training and skilling up?
Yeah, we want to spread the word about it a lot, because I think what's happened often is that people weren't aware of it. I certainly wasn't aware of job sharing. It hadn't crossed my mind when I found myself in the situation of having children and not wanting to work the hours that we work. But now I feel like people are talking about it much more, but we are doing an awful lot of advocacy around it and doing networking events. We did online playgroups in lockdown where people could meet each other while they were singing songs and blowing bubbles and stuff like that. So the network of job shares is growing all the time. I think the more that people talk about it, and also the more that we work on these big productions that work really long hours and really long shoots, like 8 or 9 months. Quite often people don't want to be working for 9 months of the year on a production from 8 in the morning till 7 at night, 5 days a week. So the appeal of a job share is becoming more and more as the more big jobs are coming. So The job sharing pool in Scotland is small, but it's ever growing. And I think the interest in it is growing more and more as week on week, I would say at the moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also in terms of crew shortages, I know you guys do a lot of training opportunities and even working with universities, because there's a huge gap in being able to graduate and then enter a field, and job sharing is also a great way to get skills and experience. So can you tell us ways that people who are listening to this can get involved with BECTU Vision? Is there a website they should go to?
Yes, absolutely. BECTU.org.uk/vision is our website. And we have a contact point for new entrants, people that are looking to get into film and TV. BECTU Base is our new point of contact for people. So you can come along there, you can get in contact with us through base@bectu.org.uk. And one of our coordinators there, Chloe, will pick up your email and get in touch with you. And we offer a variety of different things depending on what level you're at. We can offer signposting to different training courses, our own training courses. We offer one-to-one sessions for people that are at the point of joining the industry. So you can come along and get a one-to-one with myself or my co-manager, Linda. Just get a little bit of advice about what stage you're at. If you know what department you want to go into, we can help you with where you might want to look for training opportunities, or if you just want to have a chat about all the different roles and where you might fit, we can do that too. We offer CV advice. We do monthly sessions as well, where people can come along and get connected with different people at a similar level to themselves as well. So we've got a whole range of activities that go on throughout the year for new entrants. But if you contact Base, then you'll get looped in with everything that we're doing there. And if you follow our social media channels on Facebook and Twitter as well, you'll find out about the events that we do online. Last week we had a behind the scenes session from River City, where we toured the River City set and spoke to lots of different practitioners and things like that. So we do events throughout the year that people can come along to, and we also do individual interventions for people as well. So
that's amazing, and that's an amazing amount of access and knowledge and skill, so training. And so we will include the links and things below for people who, like me, can't remember a thing right now. But before we go, Amy, you've been so generous with your time, and it's so interesting, this idea of job sharing. It wouldn't have occurred to me when I was young and in the industry and doing it. So glad there's more advocacy about it. It allows things to be so much more accessible to people from different areas and different things going on in their lives, like parents and other folks that need to balance out other jobs. So that's so cool. I think it's great. Can you end with a little bit of advice? So something that you've learned through your career that you found incredibly helpful that you can pass on.
I think one thing that was said to me on my very first day as a work experience runner on a TV program was always be 10 minutes early. Regardless of what it is, be 10 minutes early. And I thought that was really good advice, and it has stood me in very good stead, because it means that I think being the person that's always there a little bit early builds the trust, and always means if you're stuck in a little bit of traffic, you've got that leeway as well. So it's always
it does take the pressure off, doesn't it? Because you never know what you're going to find on your journey to work. So that's great. That's so good.
That's one that's definitely stuck with me.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you on Expo North Digital, and we hope to see you soon. I might sign up for some of those sessions. They sound great.
Please do. Thanks so much, Jessica.
Thank you.